Hello guys and girls! I really wanted to teach you guys and girls how to code any CloudFormation. So I thought instead of just giving you CloudFormation and just going over it because that's easy, I wanted to show you how I code any CloudFormation in my professional life. Like how I start with the base template, how do I search for syntaxes, how do I build on top of it, all the inner working of it. And this is like I wanted to code with you guys and girls. I mean, sometimes you will see in this video that I'll search something and I did not find what I was hoping for, so I have to pivot and find alternative approach. So that's why the video is a little long. So take a break if you need to. I did not want to break the video into two parts because I felt like it will lose its continuity and the flow. Alright, with that being said, let's jump into it. Okay, so what should we build? So EC2 is a very commonly used infrastructure. However, let's put a twist. How about we also going to create an IAM role and then attach it to the EC2. But this is also used in real world projects where you have to use a specific IAM role, and we're going to create this IAM role in CloudFormation as well. Also, let's create a SNS topic. However, I just don't want to create a vanilla SNS topic. So here's the twist. We want to have a condition. So we want to create SNS topic with email. We want to use one email if the environment is test, and we want to use another email address if the environment is prod. How about that? And I'm going to show you how to look up a reference guide, sample templates, and stitch together pretty much any template you can think of. Alright, so what are the things that will be involved? Mappings, parameter, pseudo parameters, intrinsic functions, conditions, outputs, resource, and a good bit of Googling. Okay, with that being said, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I do is I pick a resource and try to get a sample template for it. Because you don't want to code everything from scratch. Like every CloudFormation template will have some common sections, right? Like parameter, resources, output. I want to have a best template handy, and then I can build on it so that I can see the sections, copy paste, all that good stuff. So for our case, I'm going to start with the Amazon EC2, right? Because that's the biggest piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for Amazon EC2 sample template in the CloudFormation. So the first thing I search for is in the sample CloudFormation template. So I search sample CloudFormation template. And I generally click the first link. Okay, and then browse sample templates by AWS service. Okay, here we go, Amazon EC2. Okay, and then I click view in designer. Why do I click view in designer? It's because whether you want JSON or YAML, you could change it here, right? So the default is JSON. You can easily switch to YAML. However, I'm going to go back to JSON for this one. It doesn't matter. You can use YAML as well. So I'm going to copy all this. Then I'm going to go back to my trusty Visual Studio Code. I have the file open. I'm going to save this as a JSON file so we can have the syntax check and all that good stuff. Okay, I named it code any CloudFormation underscore version 1.json. I'm going to paste this. So what does this CloudFormation have? So let's see. So under parameter, we have this key name and then instance type. Okay, SSH location, and then we have the mappings. So this is handy, right? We already have the mappings. Depending on the region and architecture, it's gonna pick up AMI ID. But we are gonna take a look at that, so don't worry. Okay, so then we have this EC2 instance. However, there is no instance role attached to this EC2. So it's just gonna create a default role, but we're gonna change that, right? And then we have the security group, which it is creating, and it has a couple of outputs. Okay, now let's try to attach a role. How about that? So now to get the syntax of that, I will generally search like this, AWS EC2 CloudFormation. So this time I am looking for the actual type in CloudFormation. like AWS ::EC2 : instance. So I'm going to click that. Okay, so these are all the possible properties. So which one will be the instance role? Okay, IAM instance profile. So this is a possibility. Let's see, let's go down. Okay, there is no other thing as instance role or anything. So let's click this IAM instance profile. So the type is string, however, it doesn't give us much information here, right? I was expecting for some sample example or something. So I'm going to go back to Google and I'm going to type IAM role CloudFormation. So basically I'm looking for syntaxes on how to create an IAM role. So when I search for that, I always look for the actual type. So AWS :IAM role. So this is the documentation. So let's click that. So these are all the parameters. I'm going to scroll down to see if there are any examples. Okay, there are some examples. IAM role with embedded policy and instance profiles. This is good. So what I'm going to do is copy this. So what it is doing, let's see. Type is IAM role. And then it's allowing EC2 to assume this role. So basically, this role can be used by EC2. And then if you want this role to be used by something else, like Lambda or something, so instead of EC2, you can just put lambda.amazonaws.com. Okay, this is the policy document. It's creating a policy called root, and then it's allowing everything. Okay, and then it's generating a IAM instance profile from that root role. Okay, this sounds pretty good. So we have to include this in the resources section. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. However, if you are in JSON, be cognizant of this curly braces, right? Okay, so let's see. We're going to copy this. I'm going to leave the last two curly braces. Okay, go back to our base template, and then I'm gonna paste it here. How about that? Paste this here, and then put a comma. Let's see. Okay, root instance profile. So this is the IAM instance profile. So I'm gonna copy this. Okay, so the name of this property is IAM instance profile. So under properties, I'm just gonna put it here. IAM instance profile. Okay, and this is a string, remember? So just gonna ref this. So ref. Okay, what I'm gonna reference, the instance profile role that is created. Okay, this red color is scary, isn't it? Okay, so we assigned a role to this. Okay, so now let's do this Amazon SNS. Okay, so I'm gonna go look for Amazon SNS example. I always go back to the sample templates. Okay, so we don't have SNS here. So I'm just gonna Google SNS CloudFormation. Okay, and then I always click the : one, the actual documentation. Okay, so this is the syntax, and then I always look for an actual example. We could use that, but let me see if there's anything else. So there's nothing else. So I'm going to copy this whole thing. Okay. So back to our CloudFormation. Let us paste this. How about we do this after EC2? Okay, I want to put a comma here. Okay, so we don't need these two different endpoints. So I'm going to delete one. So in Visual Studio Code, if you click on a curly brace, it shows the matching curly brace so that you know exactly what to delete. So I'm going to delete this. Okay, and this endpoint. Endpoint, we have to do some magic because we have a conditional selection of the email. So let's look up the protocol for emails. I think it's just email, but let's take a look. So protocol is under subscription. Okay, so let's scroll up and try to find subscription. Okay, subscription, type list. So it's basically a list, like a third bracket thing. And then let's click subscription. protocol. So basically we are looking for protocol type. So if I click protocol, see the protocol parameters of subscribe. Okay, where is the protocol? Here we go, protocol. Okay, the protocol you want to use, supported protocol, HTTP, HTTPS, email, email JSON, SMS, SQS, application Lambda. So email. So I'm gonna go back to our JSON. Okay, so I'm gonna make this email. I don't know if this topic name is required or mandatory. I'm gonna check actually. Okay, topic name. Let me click this. Required no, so I'm gonna remove it. Okay, I will let CloudFormation create the topic name. Okay, now this endpoint, right? So generally, this is where you can put an email. Like if you want to put an email address, what you could do is put a ref. You can put like SMS email. That means that you have to get a parameter named SMS email, accept the email for the user, and then use it as endpoint. However, we want to do a conditional email, right? So now let's take a look at how condition works. So go back to trusty Google, CloudFormation condition. Okay, conditions. Okay, I'm gonna click this. How to use conditions. Okay, logical ID, intrinsic function. So we probably want either fn if or fn equals. But let's take a look. Examples. Okay, this is the money thing. We want examples. So this is how you set conditions. This will set this create prod resources flag true if environment type is equals to prod, and then you can use this flag in actual resources. This is actually good. We can reuse this. Okay, let's do this. Let's copy this conditions thing. Go back to our JSON, okay, and then remember conditions is its separate section, not resources. Okay, and then this environment type has to be a parameter. So I'm gonna go back. This is the parameters and env type. Okay, this is perfect. So I'm gonna copy this. So again, if you are using JSON, be mindful of the curly braces. If you are using YAML, be mindful of the indentations. And also all the examples that we see here, it's given in both JSON and YAML. See, so it doesn't really matter what you want to use. Again, like people make a big deal out of it. It's really, like you guys and girls saw in the lecture, it's really easy to change. And all the examples in the AWS documentation from the reference guide is actually given in both. Parameters, how about we put it here? Default test, type string, allowed values prod or test. Okay, that sounds good. So let's go back to the SNS. Okay, so now we have to use this flag to determine the endpoint of SNS. Let's go back to the conditions. Let's take a look at the if function, right? Because that sounded kind of hopeful. Okay, I wish there was a link here. I guess I'm going to have to click here. Okay, returns one value if the specified condition evaluates to true, and another value if the specified condition evaluates to false. Okay, this is perfect actually. And then you give the condition name. So we already have the condition name, which is setting as true or false depending on the environment input. And then I'm just gonna put two emails here. One if the value is true, another if the value is false. Let's see if we have an example. Okay, so yeah, so it's pretty straightforward. So what security groups is gonna use? If this flag is set to true, it's gonna use this ref new security group. If it is false, it's gonna use this existing security group. However, this case it's referencing because it's probably creating in the CloudFormation or it's getting from the input parameter. For us, I'm just gonna put the email names. So let's do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this thing. So this is third bracket, this is third bracket. So it's funny. I grew up in India, and in India, the parenthesis here is called first bracket. The curly braces here is called second bracket in India, and this bracket is called third bracket. But anyway, endpoint. So here, let's paste this. Okay, and what was the name of our flag? Conditions. Create prod resources. How about we change this? We change this as determine email. How about that? And take a note that this flag will become true if the environment type is prod. Copy this, go down. Okay, name of the condition is determine email. And then if this is true, so basically if this is prod, okay, so now let's put the prod email. How about when there's a problem in the prod, we always emails big boss, right? How about bestcompany.com? How about that? Okay, and then for this one, okay, if there's a problem in the test, maybe we email developer at bestcompany.com. Let's take a look at the outputs as well. What are we outputting? Okay, we are outputting instance ID, availability zone, public DNS, public IP. I think these are good stuff. Okay, so one more thing. I wanted to go over this mapping because you will encounter this a lot. So let's make sure you guys and girls understand. So the image ID is the property in question. And then it has two properties, two find in map. So we always start from the inner one, the second one. So what is this one doing? So it's going to this AWS instance type to architecture, and then depending on the instance type, it's picking up the value of the architecture. So let's go to this mapping table. So I'm going to Control F. So this is this mapping. So if you say you want to spin up like a T2 micro, it's going to return architecture, which is HVM64. Let's go back. Now at this point, we have HVM64. And then what it is doing is it's passing the region in this table, and the second parameter is HVM64. So in this table, depending on the region, I'm going to pick up the AMI for HVM64. So it will become more clear. So let's see. Let's copy this. Okay. All right. So in this table, the region is the pseudo parameter AWS : region. So if you are running it in US West 2, let's say, for example, we already have HVM64 from the other mapping, and then it's going to pick up this AMI. And then this is going to get assigned to the image ID. So image ID will have that AMI value, and then it will spin up the EC2. All right, so now let's try to run this and see what happens. Create stack here, create template in designer, click template, paste. I'm going to refresh this to see the picture. Okay, it's a little funky. EC2 instance, referring root instance group, root role, and then this separate my SNS topic. Okay, I'm gonna upload this. Click next. Okay, environment type test or prod. So how about we select prod? Instance type T2 micro. Key name this. Click next. Okay, click next. Click next. Okay, because remember we are creating an IAM role. So it's asking for our acknowledgement. I acknowledge. Okay, I'm gonna pause the video and come back. Okay, we are back. So actually our CloudFormation completed successfully. Honestly, I was actually coding with you guys and girls. This is good news. It's not like I ran before and then checked on stuff. All right, so let's take a look at our resources. Okay, so it created this root role, root instance profile, SNS topic, instance security group, and EC2 instance. So let's take a look at EC2 instance first. Okay, so IAM role is the one that got created in CloudFormation. That's good. So now let's take a look at the SNS topics. Code any CFT, this is our topic. And remember, we put production, the prod as environment. So the endpoint is bigboss@bestcompany.com. All right, guys and girls. So this is how you code any CloudFormation. And then some stuff, as you do more, like the name of the intrinsic functions, what to use will come to you naturally. However, there's always Google, like I showed you. I showed you my process of how I create any CloudFormation. All right, guys and girls, that is the video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Also, if you're interested learning CloudFormation, CDK, with some DevOps and some interview guides,
Feel free to check out my course in Udemy. This is currently highest rated for CloudFormation. I'll give the link in the description. There is a sale going on currently. Alright guys and girls, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.